So I was reading, and I don't even know what PFOAs are. PFOAS, PFOAs.
So it's part of a PFAS derivative. So there's thousands of PFAS derivatives, and you got your PFOAs, your PTFEs, commonly known as Teflon to most people.
Got it.
And so you're going to see that in your nonstick cookware. But unfortunately, it's in a lot of other places, including our drinking water. And so, you have to figure out what type of water filtration system is best for you. And the great place to start is actually at the Environmental Working Group, which is a great nonprofit organization that has a water database where you can actually type in your zip code and it'll pop out some information about your water. And it'll let you know what type of water filtration is best and based on your budget as well.
Amazing. I'm doing that today. I want to know. I have a filtration system, but I don't know how do you know what your filtration system does? I mean, specifically.
Most of the time they might just remove some basic contaminants like your chlorine, but there's chloramine, there's, PFAS, there's lead, there's lots of different heavy metals in there. There's fluoride. So there's a lot of different things that can be in your water, unfortunately. There's new policies coming out every day that EWG is trying to actually push to kind of help not only spread awareness, but to change policies in our government.
So are those the things that we're looking for when we type in our zip code? Are we looking for those things to come up, or will it be that specific?
It'll be specific in terms of what type of water filtration system is best based on what they've tested. So they went around and tested water in all these different areas around the US, and it shows what kind of contaminants are there. So typically, like if you've got I'm in Los Angeles, for us, reverse osmosis is best because that's what actually removes the PFAS and as well as the chlorine, the chloramine, which that can be removed by an activated carbon filter. So it just depends on kind of what you've got. Most filters are more simplistic and they remove maybe 10 to 12 contaminants, but there can be hundreds of contaminants, unfortunately.
So what did you find when you were, because I read your bio, just that the idea of how does this affect our kids? Yeah. All these contaminants and what they're eating and what they're drinking, and how does it affect them?
So it can affect them from a wide variety of different things. If we start with just things like endocrine disruptors, most people see that as I'll see an item that says BPA free. So what does that mean? So it's a type of bisphenol, and it acts as an endocrine disruptor, meaning it's a synthetic chemical that mimics something inside your body that prevents your endocrine system from doing what it's supposed to do. So how does that translate? It can lead to decreased fertility. It can lead to early onset puberty, which I'm seeing more and more of. I've got parents messaging me saying, my 7-year-old, my 8-year-old needs deodorant, or they're starting their period. And so that's happening, sooner and sooner. And it's because of these endocrine disruptors that are found everywhere. It's found in fragrances. So we've got, your candles, your laundry detergent, your lotions, your cosmetic products.
Okay. What do we look for? What word? Please tell me.
So you want to look for things. So it's tough for sure. And that's kind of part of why.
How can you read these labels and figure out what you're putting in your body or on your body?
It's tough. And so I actually, I'm not to mention the EWG again, it's a great resource, I think it's just something easy. I mean, I definitely promote better products on my page and ones that I actually personally use, and all the proceeds from my page go to charity. So I have no vested interest in any of the products. And I always try them out first to see if I actually like them. But they have different databases that they actually started to work on, and they didn't realize that consumers were actually going to use them, and they did. So they have like a Skin Deep database where you can type in your product and it'll pop out like a rating and let you know, hey, this isn't good for you. This is what's in it, so try something else. Same thing with your laundry detergent. They have a cleaning product one. And so personally, I love to use like Molly's Suds. I like Branch Basics, Better Life. Those are all better products for you that aren't harming you or your family, because these endocrine disruptors, you either digest them, you inhale them, or they get absorbed through your skin. So the problem is they accumulate over time. And we didn't have this problem, 20, 30 years ago, because we didn't have all these different toxins. We had some, and our body has a natural detox organ, the liver, but we can only handle so much. There's a reason why we've got so many food allergies. We've got so much more learning disabilities and ADHD and autoimmune conditions and eczema, and I could go on and on.
So do you think there's a correlation then, or what correlation is there between, like, let's say ADHD, or, because I know that's such a big button right now, and rightfully so. Do you think there's a link between, and what is it?
So for ADHD in particular, they've seen links with correlations between artificial dyes and preservatives that are found in food packaging and you consuming them, and finding that they actually worsen your attention. And so making you much more irritable as well. So when we remove those products, and I actually personally know from my own experience, because I have ADHD and was diagnosed with dyslexia, now known as reading disorder. When I removed those things from my diet, I felt a lot better. I definitely still have ADHD.
Right.
But it was a huge difference.
Yeah. And you found your attention to be better.
Yeah, I was able to focus a lot better. I mean, I definitely use different compensatory strategies now and some more natural things as an adult. But when I was younger, it was definitely tough. And, there wasn't as much awareness about it. And it was actually found I think it was in the 80s by an allergist that found that correlation. And now it's, we're actually seeing the impact on all kids. So artificial dyes and preservatives are not great for any child or let alone adult.
No, especially in big. Yeah, they're in everything. And that's, how do you get around that too? That's so hard. How can you eat out or go to a bakery or go anywhere without eating those things?
Well, a lot of it's in your packaged food. So when you're going to the grocery store, I like to say on the outer aisles. So you're going to stick with your produce. Once you get to your packaged food, flip it over.
Yeah.
First thing I like to look at are added sugars, because refined sugars is a huge problem in our nation today. And we're just overwhelmed by sugar because it's in everything.
Yeah.
I want to preface all this because I've been listing out a lot of different toxins right now, and it's going to just seem overwhelming.
I mean, it does. I'm like, wait, I have to throw out my whole kitchen. I think everything.
So I want to kind of go backwards because I don't want to overwhelm everybody.
Yeah.
First thing, social toxins can actually be worse than chemical ones. And I like to preface that and let people know that. And what I mean by that is social toxins, meaning you're worrying, you're overwhelmed, you're anxious about all these things.
I was going to say too, like, I feel like ADHD is also helped with, and this is totally off subject, but with more connection and like less worrying and feeling more relaxed in your relationship and feeling better at home, that you see that also decreases a child's inability to pay attention.
Sure. There's a lot of different things that, contribute to ADHD. So it's hard to just say it's just toxins.
Yeah,
it's definitely
right.
it's a contributing factor,
Right.
There's lots of things with ADHD. There's sleep, there's diet, there's tons of other things going on.
Yeah.
But when I approach, how do you start to get on a more non-toxic journey? I say, let's start with the few, the top 5 free options that I like to say. That you don't have to do anything. You don't have to buy anything.
Thank you.
So we're going to start with that one. So
Yeah.
Number 1, leave your shoes outside. Don't bring your shoes inside and walk with your shoes inside. There's tons of different bacteria and viruses, including C. diff, that actually are on the bottom of your shoes. And you don't realize that you're bringing that out into your home, and your home environment inside, the indoor air is actually more harmful than the outdoor air.
Because it's contained.
It's contained, but there's a lot of things inside your home that you don't realize that you're bringing in. So your furniture, your carpet, things that you're bringing in from your shoes, from the outside. So indoor air is actually has more pollutants than outdoor.
Okay.
And I think that's surprising to a lot of people.
Yes.
So number 1, leave your shoes outside or put them in a basket. Don't walk around with your shoes inside your home.
Got it.
Number 2, open your windows. Something really simple.
Yeah.
You can always look and check that air quality as well. You can check it on purpleair.com, and it'll just spit out a number and let you know how the air is doing outside. So whether or not you should open your windows.
Oh my God.
But if you don't, actually think about it, like when you have that ray of sunlight that's coming in through your, window, and you see all those speckles floating.
Yes.
Around, you're inhaling all of that, and so you don't recognize that what am I actually inhaling? And so this step from, all right, opening your windows to, all right, I'm going to try and invest in something I'll save up, is an air filter. And when you actually get these air filters, the ones I like are IQ Air and Austin Air. Those are the ones that are the best out there. You'll open it up after just a week or two, and you'll open it up and you'll see the amount of stuff that's in there. And it's collecting everything from dust to volatile organic compounds that are found in your, carpet, to formaldehyde that's in the glues in the cabinetry, to everything floating around, and it'll actually clean the air.
How are we alive? I mean, honestly, like, how are we living through all
our
this?
Bodies are amazing systems, but the thing is that we can only handle so much.
Yeah.
And so those toxins accumulate in our body, and eventually they're going to come out at some point, because it's going to be, our body's going to be overloaded. So we're going to have more asthma. We're going to feel bloated. Bloated is not a thing that we're supposed to feel. Whatever woman says to me, oh, I feel bloated, but it's fine. That's not something that you should feel.
You don't have to feel that way.
You don't have to feel bloated. You don't have to feel like you've got eczema patches or little rashes, or your skin has, redness or, acne. Like, those aren't things that are normal. Like, sure, there's certain periods of time in your life when acne may be more typical because of hormones. But outside of that, no, it's not. And so you want to ask yourself, well, what may be contributing? So going back to the free things.
Yes.
Making sure to turn off your electronics at night. That's an easy thing to do.
Just all the way off.
All the way off. Or you can even put it on airplane mode. But make sure when you put it on airplane mode, you actually go through in settings and make sure that the Wi-Fi
is off.
Are actually off.
Yes.
And so the problem is that 20, 30 years ago, we didn't have all these electronics bombarding us with all of these different EMFs. And we've got dirty electricity, we've got radio frequency, and we're got the Wi-Fi, and some people are more sensitive to it.
Yeah.
And some people are fine.
And little people are more sensitive to it, obviously, because they are littler and everything is so big. And
yes, and their bodies can't handle it, and they're getting bombarded even more because they've got the baby monitor, they've got the
sound machine,
the noise machine that's Wi-Fi, and it's
the humidifier.
The humidifier, it's all right there, right on top of them. So we're going to try and remove those things from your child's room, remove those things from your room, or at least put them at least 6 feet away, because they actually dissipate over how far away they are from you.
Right. So I didn't know that.
And then if you want to go the next further step.
Yes, I want to know. I want to know at least.
Hard wiring.
Yes.
So if you want to have a baby monitor, hardwire is best.
Right. Not the Bluetooth or not the Bluetooth, Wi-Fi enabled.
Wi-Fi, but even just the regular audio monitor. There's not Wi-Fi, but it's still emitting EMF. So like, it's still not the best. So always keep it not next to your baby's crib or your child's bed.
Yeah.
Put it on the opposite wall. And same with that monitor, looking at them, or with the Nest cameras. Just be mindful of those, of having them inside your house, because they do it a lot. And then you got the same thing with, what is the Alexa, and, all the other, new technology that somehow, yes, makes your life easier, but also what is it doing to your body? You might not realize that, especially for little kids, it can impact their behavior.
What about the earbuds? Those were things I really worry about. I'm like, don't wear the earbuds. Nobody should be wearing those things.
So there's more, there's research being done every day on it. But yeah, I personally don't wear the earbuds because you're just getting bombarded with it. So I like these headphones that I'm wearing.
Yeah.
From Tech Wellness.
Okay.
And so they're plugged in. So you're not actually getting bombarded just from the earbuds that are just in your head. Yeah. And, you're getting all the radiation right across your head because it's going right through. This is coming through the actual wire. Yeah. And then they have an anti-radiation kind of shield. Oh, they have a shield. That's why I like these ones from Tech Wellness. Those are the ones that I've found that are actually more. I want to live in an anti-radiation bubble. I mean, we all want to live in our bubble, but we all want to have some kind of, exposure to everything. We just want to have, it's all about 80-20. So you've got to figure out what works best for you and your family. Right. So going back, so making sure no shoes in your house, making sure you open your windows, eventually getting, an air purifier, drinking water, if you can get a water filtration system, that's great. Like the AquaTrue is a reverse osmosis one that's on the counter. Pristine Hydro is more expensive, but it goes under the sink. It's not, as time consuming because you don't have to constantly clean it out as much as the countertop one. And are these on your site? Yeah, some of these things are on my site. Okay. sometimes I just talk to them, about them when people ask me questions.
No, I want to know. I mean, I think it's like, if you're going to do it, you might as well, because I have a filtration system. And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if it's the right one, and I'd rather buy the right one.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And then making sure when you do fill up that water, don't use a plastic bottle, use a glass bottle, and the reason I say that is that plastic has different bisphenols that are endocrine disruptors, even if it says it's BPA free. Problem is they add in different bisphenols to, account for the fact that they can't have BPA. So they put in BPS, BPF, which actually can be more harmful to your body. So that's why, especially with kids, even the American Academy of Pediatrics came out in 2012 saying, don't use plastic, use glass, stainless steel instead. If you're going to use plastic, never heat it up. Don't put it in your dishwasher. If you have to put it in your dishwasher, put it on the top rack, because it gets too hot in your dishwasher. And the problem is with plastic, when it gets hit by heat or anything acidic, it breaks down. And so it leaches, that plastic melts down and you're consuming it.
That's one thing I did know, everybody. I just want everyone to know I don't use
plastic. Michelle knew about plastic, so that's great.
And I don't wear my shoes in the house. Okay, those two things.
So you got two down. That's huge. That's
a
huge
good
step.
And I open the windows. I'm almost there.
All right, we're almost there. And then when we shut off our electronics at night, so we're trying to lower our EMF amount. That's a good thing. When you go next step further, you want to make sure your sleep is really important. Sleep is huge. So I like to make sure to follow my biological clock, when it's dark, you get into your bed. When it's morning time, I like to ground. So I take my bare feet and I go outside.
Oh.
And it does wonders, because you're actually just, getting energy. This may seem like more spiritual and whatnot, but they've actually shown some studies on this, that actually putting your bare feet in the ground, you're actually getting, you're absorbing things through the ground, and you're actually feeling,
the earth.
Feeling the earth. And it kind of helps to set your biological clock, especially if you're traveling and you ever feel like jet lag. That's one thing I always do, and it always helps me. And I really don't suffer from jet lag because of it.
Oh, interesting. I always see people walking with barefoot too. I mean, hiking like in Griffith Park barefoot. And I wonder if
I'm always impressed by that. I don't know if I could do that.
I'm like, wait, you're doing this whole like 3-mile thing
there's a big barefoot, community out there, and they do it. I'm about like getting my 5-10 minutes out in the grass, the dirt, the sand, wherever you're at.
That sounds good for me.
I don't think you need to go that far.
No, there's doggy run out there.
But for those who do it, kudos.
Yeah.
So then going back, so when we actually look at different toxins, so we've got some of our free things that we can do. Let's go and approach. Oh, and produce. Sorry, I didn't talk about diet. Incorporating more produce. Whether if you can't afford organic, get conventional. Wash it off in your sink more often. You can even do like a little bit of baking soda or apple cider vinegar in your sink and wash off all your produce, depending on kind of what it is.
Baking soda. I never heard that one.
Yeah, like a little spoonful of baking soda.
Okay.
It can kind of help reduce the amount of pesticides that are on the, on the produce.
Right.
But when you can, try to buy organic. The thing is that people say, well, I can't afford all organic. How do I do that? So there's something called the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15, and they've studied which pesticides are held on to produce more than others. So the Dirty Dozen, we've got like kale and strawberries, those hold on to pesticides. So when you can, buy those organic. Versus like a banana or an avocado or an orange. Those have a thicker peel, and so those don't hold on to pesticides as much, so that you don't need to buy organic.
So when you're not eating the outside peel, maybe it's okay to buy the conventional.
Exactly. So just Dirty Dozen, Clean 15. You can Google that. The EWG puts that out the
EWG is like the go-to.
They are an amazing organization. And I joined the board because I thought they were doing such incredible things and really helping to spread awareness. And so, it's a great nonprofit that it's a good starting place, because I think people get overwhelmed and they don't really know where to go.
Yeah, I'm overwhelmed. I'm going to have to listen to this again to get all of the information, I think, one more time, because there's a lot. It's a lot.
There is a lot. And I can send you some links from my page that have like the top 5 free things to do, the top 5 investments you want to make. kind of thing to start your non-toxic journey.
I need a non-toxic journey, I think.
Okay. And then, so you, in the beginning of the show, we talked about PFAS. So
yes, that
is one thing you can't just, when you run out of something like a cleaning product, go try and buy a better one. PFAS, right. I will say that you just have to toss. So I like started a whole thing where I'm like, toss the Teflon.
Toss all your nonstick. What about the cast iron pan? That's what I use a lot because
amazing. So you got another step.
Yes,
cast iron is great.
Okay, good, because it doesn't stick, and I love it.
I'm all about my cast irons. I love it. Good. Over time, they become more and more nonstick.
They're the best.
Yes, they're the best. So you want to stick with your stainless steel and your cast iron. So
there
you go.
All right, I'm good. You're
good on that one. But yeah, so Teflon, it's the PFAS, which is commonly known as Teflon, was for some of them, for some people.
Yeah.
It doesn't break down. It's a forever chemical. They've done tons of studies. They find it in the umbilical cords of fetuses. It's there. And so we want to try and get rid of it as much as we can and not, make sure that we're consuming more and more of it. So just be mindful. Anytime anything says like water resistant or stain resistant, it's got some kind of PFAS derivative. And there's thousands of them, unfortunately.
What are the big ones that we should look for? The big products that have PFAS?
Your cookware, your carpet. So if you're going to put carpet in your kids' room, I would try to think twice about that.
What about just rugs, like the hand knotted rugs, those kind of rugs?
So you just want to be mindful of rugs if they have some kind of stain resistant or water resistant added to them. And so you just want to ask the manufacturer, do you have that? And if they say no, or if they say yes, we do, if they say no, we don't, well, how is it like not absorbing? What are they putting on it then?
What is keeping it good?
And a lot of the time you'll see DWR, which is durable, like water resistant.
Got it.
Is a PFAS, derivative there.
Okay.
They use that there.
So cookware, rugs.
Cookware is the big one. Rugs, your children's clothing. So anytime that you got all of your rain gear and your winter gear. So I'm writing out of a blog of like places to find better products.
Is Gore-Tex like that then?
Yeah.
Shoot. No, I'm not doing well there.
So but it's all about 80-20. Like, it's not like the end of the world. You're not like, it's not like you're consuming it.
Yeah.
So like my most important thing is like, I'd start with your cookware.
Right. What about rubber, like rubber, boots and that kind of thing? Those are fine.
So it depends. So, there's like PVCs on them. So like I have different rain gear, like the rain boots I love for my kids are by Stones, STONZ. And they don't have any PVC. So it's not like, coming off of their rain boots and you're not inhaling, but obviously like it's not the end of the world.
Perfect. Yeah.
It can't be perfect. You're really wearing them outside. So it's not the end of the world.
And you're not bringing them inside anymore. So they're staying outside on the porch. So you're going to be
It's not the end of the world. So I don't want you to freak out about
I'm not going to freak out about my Gore-Tex. I'm leaving it.
But like if parents are thinking, okay, I need to buy
some new one
or new ones, I have to get something. Oh, let's look for some better options. That's all. If you have them, like, and I still have some pieces that like, from Patagonia or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not tossing them.
Oh, they're expensive.
So when my kids grow out of it, then I have to buy a new one. Then I do.
Yeah. Okay, good.
So I think you just have to approach it like that.
Wow. There's so much in our environment I knew nothing about.
Yeah, it's a lot out there. And so like, especially with kids, and that's why I created like a non-toxic, like baby registry to kind of, and give different options for parents, because I took this journey. It started off when I was finished in grad school, and I started working in clinics, and I started noticing the impact of diet on our kids.
Yeah.
And how, preservatives, refined sugars, artificial dyes were really impacting these kids' behaviors. And when I, wrote up a report and I gave them different recommendations to how to change their diet, they did a lot better. And so I started finding that there was actually a lot of research on it. It just wasn't as, people weren't as aware. And I think,
I just think that we go to the store and we're like, oh, I want applesauce. And if it has sugar in it, we might not even look because it's just applesauce.
You think it's just applesauce, or you think it's just pickles, or you think it's just yogurt.
Yeah.
All of these things have added sugar.
Yeah.
And especially the things that say, oh, there's no fat. That's what happened is like in the 80s where everything was fat free. Well,
the Yoplait has no fat, but it's just full of 30 grams of sugar.
Right. They have to add in sugar.
And everyone loved it.
Yeah. And because sugar is addictive, it's actually 8 times more addictive than cocaine. And so it's very hard, it's hard to detox from.
Yeah.
And I have some friends that wrote a book called Sugarproof by Dr. Michael Goran and Dr. Emily Ventura. And the book is excellent. And they actually wrote out 2 different programs to kind of detox off of sugar for your kids and for the whole family, because you got to do it together.
Yeah, I want to do that. We did it 3 weeks of no sugar, and I thought everyone was going to die. They were like, I can't believe you're taking it away. And I was
how did you guys feel?
We felt good, and everyone did really well. They were jonesing for it. We just cut out refined sugar, right? Yeah. I don't know if it was in a few things here and there, just the refined sugar. And they had a hard time getting rid of it. We love dessert after dinner. That's like our thing. And it was really hard to go like, okay, you're just going to have a piece of fruit. That has to be enough. Right.
I mean, you definitely don't have to go that far. I mean, fruit is something that I mean, especially with young kids, you just want to be mindful of how much sugar, it goes from 0 to 2, there's nothing. Yeah. And then from 2 to 17, it's 24 grams of sugar. And that's a widespread because a 2-year-old is not the same weight as a 17-year-old. And so you just want to be more mindful of that. And so in that Sugarproof book, they actually wrote out a great diagram and breaking it down of how many grams of sugar should be for a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, 5-year-old. And so you can kind of have like some idea of a guide of what you should be giving. But like, something that we do is we do a fruit crisp a lot of the time for dessert, like on the weekends. You take some crumbled, gluten-free oats, gluten-free organic oats, put some coconut sugar if you want, or honey or some kind of unrefined sugar, put it on, like cook down the fruit and mix it all together. And Pamela Salzman is like my go-to guru of cooking, where I get lots of my recipes from. And she's got tons of them on her site. Okay. And so she's got, and they're all really healthy, and she's real health conscious too. And they're actually delicious.
Amazing. I think we all need this kind of stuff. It gets hard. It's easier to, go by the donuts and say, oh, we're having a treat.
And you're going to still have
Krispy Kreme,
like I always say, like, if you're going to eat the stuff that doesn't help you grow, eat the better stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of like the red dye 40, candy, which is banned in Europe, but not banned here. I'd rather you eat a cookie because it's got whole ingredients.
Totally. Yeah, that makes sense. It's just being more mindful about what you're putting in your body.
Yeah. So like, that's kind of how I explain it with my kids.
Yeah. So good. This was really good. Thank you. I love any last minute like advice or any last minute, anything you want to give people out there if they're trying to, be more mindful about what they're putting in their body or putting on their body or putting in their house, or any last little pieces of advice.
I think it's just, again, that social toxins can be worse than chemical ones, and not to be overwhelmed by it. The biggest thing is when you run out of something, look for something better. You don't have to buy the same Tide laundry detergent. You can try and switch it. When you're done with your cosmetics, that have parabens and phthalates that are, endocrine disruptors, look for a better brand. There's a great website called Naked Poppy that has better brands on there that don't have those, chemicals in their makeup brands that they actually promote. So there's always ways to do it. Just don't try to replace everything at once. When you run out of something, go for it. The only things I like to say to replace are nonstick cookware when possible, and try to get rid of plastic and switch over to glass and stainless steel or cast iron.
Okay, good. This was great. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it.